Welcome, everyone. Um, I hope you brought your cup of tea today. So grab it and come on in and join me around the fire for a nice evening with a little story here and there, or some stories, as you know how it goes with me. Um, Excuse me if my eyes go this way and this way. As you know, I need to use my cell phone for the for the live stream, and I have my laptop open so that I can look at the chat as well. So it's not that I'm all over the place, just so you know, because again, I'm out in the boonies, so I have to do the best with this, and I hope I'm coming across clear. So good evening, everyone. So once you get comfortable, today I brought a nice cup of mullein tea. Hi, brother. Hi. Um, yeah, the mullein tea. I mean, you probably know how the plant looks. It's mostly growing in some more gravelly areas and dry areas. It's tall, right? And it got these cute little flowers on everywhere. And so this one is actually very good for your respiratory system, for your lungs, and for a sore throat. So I thought, since we're talking about divining and singing today, this would be the perfect tea. So, yeah. Um, yeah, when you look at the plant, I mean, it's not only that it's good for cough, throat, and everything. And again, this is not a medical advice, you know what I'm saying. Um, but there is a spiritual aspect of the plant. So if you look at it, it's tall, it's strong, the flowers look friendly, sunny, inviting, and yet it looks a little intimidating because it's so tall when it's in its best bloom. And hey, Randy, holy, good to see you. Um, yeah, um, so for me, the message is more like, you know, she is friendly, she's inviting, she's reaching high, and she's strong. It's a very strong plant. It's very branchy, very thick branch, and yet it shines. So for me, it's a message for us. So for being strong, you don't always have to show it and blow it out. Like, I'm so strong, right? It's not outside, it's inside where we find strength. Okay, so and this is very important for what we are gonna talk today about, or the story I'm gonna tell you about. So yeah, with the strength and the flowers and everything, it has both aspects, the male and female, and this is a reminder that we carry both the gentleness and the strength within us, right? And that wisdom is found when this is in harmony. So other than that, your ego will just go out and do its thing, right? I'm just checking the chat. Hey, Natalie. So, um, yeah, what are we gonna? Oh, I need to take a zip. Mm. I mean, again, don't expect any flowery taste. It's more earthy. So, um, so yeah, let's talk about Gilda tonight. So the singing of the runes. So, and like I said, I find Mullen very fitting with it, right? Um, So even though you might think it, Galdr is not about the singing itself. It's about the breath, the vibration, and the intentions we're setting in with it. So, and it's really about to allow your voice to become an honest expression of who we truly are, right? So, yeah, let me just check the chat. So, because before we can sing, we need to do the Galdr, we need the clarity, we need the awareness in our breath. Before we speak, we must learn to listen and all of the good stuff, right? So, yeah. So, as you enjoy your tea and breathe deeply, sit with confidence or stand with confidence. Yeah, I'm gonna explore with you Galdr and the singing and chanting of runes, and also how this is connected to the diviner, to the Seidr magic with CK written. So, and or what I call divine work. So let me just put it this way, right? So many think that runes are just carved in stone or on a rock. Yes, our ancestors did so too, but there was more to it. It wasn't just letters, it was much more than letters, right? So and our ancestors knew before that the ones that came before us. So I need more tea because I start rambling. Ha ha. No, it's been a long week. So runes, like I said, they're for me an universal language. And for them also, they carried the wisdom, right? They carried meaning and they were important for them. They carried sound. They spoke the runes. They sung the runes. They gave them breath. They breathed them into the world. Is that right? They breathed them into the world. That's how I say it. But you get me, right? So, and to the Old Norse word Gildr is refers to the what's the word, incantation or the magical chant, right? And magic is energy, as we know. So, and excuse me if I don't read the chat the whole time. I'll chat with you guys after, but because other than that, I go squirrely. We don't want that. So, like, from some historical sources and later tradition, they know they have been practiced they've been doing the practice of chanting and singing, like I said. So, and my own practice is inspired by these traditions, and they shaped me by years and years and years of personal study, of reflection, and of experience. And trust me, it wasn't always the best experience because I had to learn, right? So, because our ancestors understood what we just start to understanding again, that sound changes us. So, every work we speak is vibration, and every song influences our emotions. I mean, our own voice resonates on our whole body. So, it wasn't just, in my opinion, not simply about performing magic, but it was also about aligning ourselves with the natural order of creation, right? Not because sound forces the universe to bend to our will, to obey us. That's not how it works anyways. But it is because sound changes the one who speaks it. And when we change, Um, Anna! And yeah, so now I lost my track. See, that's what happens. It's Anna's fault. So no, when we change, our relationship with the world begins to change. And this is what I've been trying to bring across so many times. Stop worrying about what's happening outside. You can't change it. All you can do is change yourself. And once you change yourself, things around you will change because it will affect everyone how you react. So, and things will change one way or the other. So that's the best I can explain it for now. So, but to truly sing a rune, we, and I believe we must first learn to live it and to understand it. And it's not enough to just know its name and read, oh, that's the meaning about it. Um, it's or to understand the meaning. It's really about the whole picture, and that's what I'm explaining in my book also, that I'm starting with exercises that might annoy some people, breathing, visualization, meditation, but it is important. It's mandatory, in my opinions. And also, you must learn to surrender to the lessons the runes gave us, right? Or yeah, our trust, allow it to shape us. So even it might feel very uncomfortable, and most of you understand what that means. It sounds chaotic. You think the bridges are burning, there's a tornado over you, there's an earthquake below you. I just talked to a friend about this the other day, and you're thinking, seriously? But this is what shapes us. This is what shapes us. And then once we've been through it, the storm calms down, and then ta-da, there's you. So, yeah, but what I'm trying to say, if you sing them, you no longer just sing the words, you no longer just sing the rune name or whatever you come up with this. So, and therefore it's so important also the music we're listening to. I've listened to so much music as a teenager that I didn't understand a fucking word because my English wasn't that great, right? And it was regular Oxford school English. I didn't know the meaning and whatever. And then years later, I'm like, oh shit, that's what they were talking about. So, and no matter how nice the melody sounds, sometimes the songs are just nasty and pulling you down, right? So, yeah, so be also careful not only what you speak, what you say, but also what you're listening to. My opinion, again, my opinion. So, and for living the runes, like I just said, you have to understand that every rune has three parts. It has a shape, it has the meaning, of course, and it has a vibration. But don't get set on the meaning. This is just a little bit, because once you become a runester and you're familiar with the runes, you will quickly understand that this goes beyond. I am still, after 20 years, discovering new things where I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing today, right? So, so most of all, many only study the shapes. The shapes, and like I said, maybe a little meaning, but no one ever, or very few, experience the vibration of it. So, um, I'm trying to read a little chat here on the side. So, where was I? Yeah, this is when the magic happens, when the rune is sung rather than read. It just simply changes because of all of the aspects I just mentioned. So that means, excuse me, the rune will then no longer be just a symbol. It becomes an experience, you know? The breath slows us down. Our mind becomes quiet and the body then begins to listen. So this is what I was trying to bring across with my exercises because it's so important. And our voice is a sacred instrument, right? It understands the power of sound. We raise our voice when we're angry, we know, or we quiet down when we're scared, and it can do so much. A kind word can comfort someone, and if you have an angry voice, it will cause some fear. It will create fear. So, and with the music, like I said, it can make you break out in tears or without saying a single sentence, even just the melody, right? Depending on. So, like I said, our ancestors understood that long before us. So it was about everything, the breath, the body, the spirit, and they all had to go into harmony. Yeah, and yeah, it became for them a sacred instrument, like with many other cultures as well. Everybody sings or chants. It's sacred. That's what they do, right? And it's not to control the world, but to become more deeply connected with yourself, right? Does that make any sense? So, and if you like, if you know Fehu, um, I'm just taking Fehu as an example because it's the less riskiest of rune, I find, if you do it right again. But however, so instead of asking now, what does this rune mean? Just simply breathe. Breathe quietly, calm yourself down, clear your head with the junk from the day, and then observe it. And that's what I used to do with my students, or the ones that wanted to learn with me, that I could share my knowledge with. Let me put it this way. I like that better. So, and I asked them to observe the form, and what they came up with was beautiful. So, but then if you want to go deeper, breathe, relax, and then become aware of your breath, and then be aware of the sound your breath makes. Not loudly, not like, right? So that's a little too dramatic. We don't want, we don't need to go there, right? And so what? There was a message deleted. What's happening? Is there action? I'm missing the action. But I have my guard dogs, right? So I gotta check anyways who I have all as admin here. Admin, you know what I'm saying. So anyways, so when you're aware of your breath, like feel it. Allow the vibration to move through and you will feel it. I'm not saying like, so that you can feel it. Just really, and then you say, oh, I can feel it in my throat too. Yippee. No, I mean like really, and then just for an exercise to feeling. And then at one point you feel how it resonates with your chest and maybe your throat, not in the exaggerating way that I just did. But it will quiet your thoughts. And yes, it takes practice before you are able to shut down your brain or shut off your brain, at least a little, right? So, and I always say there is no right and wrong how you do it, as long as you do it the way that you can feel it and experience. So, and yeah, you can create a song in your mind if the rune speaks to you. You can just hum the rune, tune it. Feo. you can stretch the rune name. But again, for that, I mean, I just felt it just doing that. But so not just copy that now and blurb it out, but learn to hear and learn to feel. This is so very important, right? And so, and once you have all this, there comes the Seidr magic, the diviner, as I like to call it. So that's another practice of the Old Norse, right? While Galdr works with the power of your voice, so Seidr is more like it's just a different practice. It's connected with a very deep meditation, more so the inner vision. It's connected with the intuition and to build a relationship with the unseen. So and for those who read the Edda and other stories about that, like it said that Freya was the Seidr, which I believe, and she has taught some of her wisdom to Odin, right? So, yeah, and that wisdom is not found only in speaking. I can tell you that it has to be found also in listening, and with listening, I mean into the deepest, into the outers of worlds. So, but most of all, you find the answers in yourself because you have the answers already. So you just have to sit still to receive it, right? So because we all usually overlook this, but don't get me wrong, Seidr is not very comfortable, and you cannot just also say, oh, I want to do that, I want to become that. Like I said, it's about learning, and then it will be decided what you will be, how you will work with your runes. You will feel what is comfortable for you. So don't sit there, oh, this sounds cool, I want to try this. First the runes, first get to know yourself, first calm yourself down, then the choice can be made, if I make sense. And because also with this kind of work, you don't only find good stuff. Wisdom is not only found in light and celebration and yupti, right? It's also found in uncertainty and in fear, and I can tell you that, and through transformation. So it's very uncomfortable, and it's the greatest battle is not with the darkness or with the shit that's happening around us. It's with the darkness we carry within ourselves. So, and in my work of healing, that's what I do too. I confront people with it, right? So that's why I always say, if you're not ready, don't work with me. I'm not a love and light worker. I don't do pat. So yeah, so it's not to torture, but I have people face it and go through it with me just to understand it and to learn from it and no longer allowing these things again. Yeah. So Anna leaving? Who's leaving? Johan! Sorry. I do have to peek here in a while. So, but if you ask me what Seidr practice is, it's the honesty, it's the patient, and the humility. Cheers. yeah, you just need to understand there is no shortcut that you can take to power. It's not. There is no. So it's a lifelong practice, no matter what you do, and the more you do, the more and more you become aware, deeply aware, right? So um, yeah. So again, um, and this is where the meditation and the breathing and the visualization is so important. I cannot, not because they create power, no, that's not. But yeah, they prepare us to receive the wisdom. So when the mind is still, the heart opens up, and only then, guys, you can truly listen. So, and sometimes I'm asked, is it magic? Yes and no. It depends on what you mean by that word. Um, if you mean by magic forcing life to bend to your will, no, no. Then I don't believe that is the purpose of this tradition at all. You know. So for me, it's divine working in my own way, and um, or most importantly, let that work in us. So yeah, that is pretty much what I'm talking about. Like Odin, right? It's a responsibility that comes with that knowledge as well. There is a lot of responsibility. That's why I'm so anal at times with when I explain things. So because Odin, he sacrificed, he waited, he listened, and he endured uncertainty, right? So and then the runes revealed themselves to him. So it cannot be rushed at all. And for me, that's one of the greatest lessons in life. So runes were never meant to be a shortcut, ever. So, and that's why you can ask them questions that answer with the yes or no. You're going to get to listen to it if you like it or not. So, and if you don't have respect for them, and if you don't treat them with respect, or just like a, yeah, do I meet my dream man next week, that kind of deal, then, or how do I become rich, then yeah, that's respectless. So because there's work involved in everything we do to get our goals, right? Again, it's not um, just to bend and shape reality. So yeah, before I leave tonight, uh, I'd like to leave you with a question. I mean, I'm gonna read a little bit out of my book as well in a little bit, but my question is, what are you singing in your life, into your life each day? So just think on that, like reflect on that. It's not just with your voice, but it's with your thoughts, it's with your actions, with your heart, right? Because you do that every day if you realize it or not. So so we're chanting something into existence without us being aware of it. So um yeah, and remember, knowledge alone doesn't create wisdom. Wisdom grows through patience, and every practice begins with a quiet breath. So, yeah, and patience. I don't even want to say that word anymore. But as my advice, listen before you speak next time, and feel your breath. Breathe before you act. Like especially when we're angry, we say shit that maybe we meant it, but we could have said it a little nicer. And yeah, just think before you speak, and breathe before you act. It's, yeah. allow yourself the gift of simply being present. So I'm gonna read a little bit about my bookie book that you can get at Amazon. So I'm gonna read a little bit out of that one and out of my chapter. A good rune worker or runister or whatever you want to call yourself is one who has mastered this threefold understanding. Once you have it, you will over time deepen and broaden your inner essence through runic meditation. And here we go. It's time. It's time. This process strengthens your bond with the gods and with the collective consciousness of your ancestors. In opening yourself this way, you allow the ancestral soul within you to grow and guide you. The inner evolution awakens the gods who dwell within, that universal energy, the spirits, the ancestors, filling you with a divinity. What we mean by Balderizing, I mention that a lot in my book, and no, I'm not NAZI, whatever, has something to do with the spirit of Balder. As noted earlier to me, gods are simply divine beings. There are two ways to learn and weave the runes into your life: individual study and meditation. How you study and how much depends on your own calling. Do not feel pressured to make a total commitment at once. Let your inner voice set the peace. Again, you need the quietness for this. And then second, learning to think runically. This is more than memorizing Futharks or its lore. Runic thinking means assimilating the runes, energy and spirit, their meaning, craft, and astral images until they become second nature. When you reach this state, you don't reach for the runes. They speak through you. Some will excel as warriors, others as healers, some as scholars, others in business. Let it unfold. Flow. Don't force. So, and then of course I give a few energy practices, but this would take too long way now. So, yeah. Yeah, the runes are not waiting to change your life. They're waiting to change the way you listen to them, right? So, would you have any questions? And I'm disappearing out of the screen because I got my setup. I have to find a solution so that I can use my Leppy. So yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't read along the chat here. Okay. Well then, good breathing exercise, chanting the runes along with Heilung. Month of hazel, lovely. I love hazel. I have a hazel stick. Okay, my beautiful people. So may your words carry kindness, and may your voice carry the truth. And I see you again in 2 weeks. And I'm looking left and right. I will look at the chat later once my video uploaded. So, well, lots of blessings and hugs and kisses to you. And I hope you enjoyed it. And could take something home with you, I would pack you a tea to go, but I can't. So I'm having the last zip with you guys. So thank you everyone for coming and joining me for a cup of tea and some stories and some rune weaving. And I see you again in 2 weeks. Lots of love. Mwah.